And today we have practically the whole family there. That's Aditi is going to be talking about inspiration, and her mom is going to be conducting in meditation for us at the end of the day. I am deeply in gratitude to the whole family for standing by. Um, so who is Aditi? We don't call her Aditi, we call her lovingly Captain. She flies. She's a lady who flies. Most of us, most of us women in India and across the world. I love the way someone said yesterday, when will I find my feet to stand up and walk? And I looked at her and said, actually, I was speaking to Aditi yesterday, and I said, you know what, Aditi? You're not only standing on your 2 feet, and to be really honest, I don't remember anyone who stood on someone else's feet. We all stand on our own feet, and yet we think that we need to stand on our feet. Now, isn't that really interesting? And with Aditi, she's truly a girl who flew with her wings. She's a pilot, she's a psychologist, and she's the first pilot who's a psychologist in India, and she's the first psychologist who's the pilot in India. So I welcome Aditi. Aditi, please come on board and please tell people what you are about. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. I am truly honored to be here and share my story. And stories, people's stories are like this. Every story that is shared by one person helps someone else. I will share other people's stories, and today whatever I'm going to share
Just
is
1
very
minute,
personal,
Aditi.
very private.
Just 1 minute, sweetheart. I'm going to mute everyone. And then you're going to unmute yourself because there is someone who's, yes. Just unmute yourself now and then begin. Thank you.
Okay. So the nature of stories is such that everybody's story, life story helps someone else. And I was helped during the toughest times of my life. I was helped by life stories of other women. And today, this is the exact reason why I'm here to share my story. And Anu has invited me for this, and we had a session yesterday, almost like a rehearsal. And I came up with just very few things about myself, and I couldn't remember much. I didn't remember a lot of things, but and then Anu reminded me, Aditi, you are this also. Aditi, you are that also. Remember you told me about this, and the way things started opening up for me, and I realized, oh my God, I am so much more. There is so much more to my life, and so much more to myself, to my story, to my experiences. That was actually a very very healing moment for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about who I am and how I came here to this point in life and what I have learned. I'm going to play a little video for you that I made, and as I play the video, I'm going to pause at places and tell you what's actually happening. Yeah. So just going to share
Thank you, Aditi.
screen.
And let me know if you want me to ask you anything or help you anywhere. Okay.
At any point, wherever you feel, Anu, that you want to ask me something, or you can just stop me and you can ask me. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
At any time.
Thank you.
I'm just going to share my screen here. Can you please allow me to share my screen, Anu? It's
yes. Yes. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute, please. Yes. Sonal
So meanwhile,
Arora,
I want to
please mute yourself, my dear Sonal Arora. Thank you.
I'm not.
In the meanwhile, I want to express my gratitude to my family members who are here today, and to my friends who are here today, and to everybody, to my Venus Club family also who is here today to support me. I truly appreciate the love.
Venus Club family is beautiful. And Gopu sir has
Absolutely.
always been supportive. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pari, for being there always.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. All right. Okay, here we are. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay. So the topic of what my topic today is from disconnection to reconnection. And what I said was what is written here. One day you will tell your story of how you've overcome what you're going through now, and it will become part of someone else's survival guide. I truly believe that, and it has worked wonders in my life. So here goes. Tell me if you can hear the audio or not.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I want to start by talking about my Mrs. India journey, something that I had forgotten about. Anu reminded me yesterday. So last year, I was almost pushed into joining a Mrs. India contest by my very close and very dear friend Rajni, and who had been seeing that I've lost connection with myself. I have become disconnected. I was going through a very tough time, and she told me that you must do this because this is where your confidence will come back. You need to reaffirm who you are. And after a lot of coaxing, I finally agreed. The 3 days of the Mrs. India contest and the 1 month before that was such an amazing journey. I reconnected with myself, with my love for jewelry, with my love for dressing up, with my love for me as a woman. I reconnected with my femininity in a way that I hadn't in a really long time. In the photo, you can see me after I won the crown with Anu and Aarti and Rajni. So here's the thing: as I walked down the ramp that day, I saw 4 people who I absolutely love and adore: my mother, my son Vihan, Anu, and Aarti. Their love and faith in me, and the admiration of the people that I didn't know who looked at me in a certain way made me realize how much my history of body shaming, of being body shamed actually, had destroyed my confidence in myself and had made me feel like just a shell of a person. I'm going to show you a few things. Um, so this was during a really bad period of my time, just before this last few years, when I was constantly called fat and ugly. It broke my confidence. It broke my sense of self. If you look into the eyes of these 2 photographs, you will see emptiness. This was at a point in my life when I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't feel like I had any value anymore. I was constantly called names, and it was a bad period in my life, in my marriage actually. And I had become a shell of myself. Anu introduced me to you as a pilot, as a psychologist. I stopped flying when I got pregnant, and after that, postpartum depression and the whole the body shaming and all of that just basically killed my confidence. I couldn't recognize myself in the mirror anymore, and um, this was after my child was born. I had descended into such deep depression that my baby was beautiful, and he was fair and gorgeous, and I had begun to think of myself as, well, fat and ugly. I had just become a shape, nothing of my former self remained. It was at one point so bad that when my child was about 7, 8 months old, I had started, thinking that, oh, he's so beautiful and he's so fair, and I am so dark and fat and ugly. If I go out with him, if I take him out, people are going to think that this woman has kidnapped this baby because he's so gorgeous and she's so ugly that it doesn't look like it is her child. It was mm, it was painful, to say the least. आई आवाज बंद करशी. And I had I didn't even think I didn't even think that uh, I I could do better than this, than the situation I was in, because I probably deserved it, being fat and ugly and worthless and many other things that became a regular part of my life at that point. But how did I get to that point? Let me share a little bit about my childhood and my journey with you. This is me, little Aditi, who was not fat and ugly, who was not lost, and uh, who didn't think that she was so worthless. However, I did have a lonely sort of a childhood. We lived in a joint family, and my parents were very busy taking care of the home, taking care of. My father had just started his job at that time as a pilot. He had to do a lot of training, so he was away from home a lot. My mom, she, my grandmother had passed away very soon after I was born, so my mom had to take care of the entire family. My uncle and aunt were very young at that time, so she almost had to be their mother. And I grew up quite quite lonely. I didn't have very great, I was the typical obedient, if you know birth order, how the older children are, that's who I was. Very quiet, very meek, very obedient, very shy, and that's who I was. And I started reading very early. So books have always been my companions. Books have always been my best friends. They were when I was young. They have been my best friends throughout my life. And even during these really terrifyingly difficult times, it is the books and the authors of those books that I turn to for wisdom, for clarity, for a path out of where I was. As I grew up in this, this socially awkward, kind of a girl, I didn't have great aspirations for myself, and I thought I was pretty ordinary, and not really meant to amount to anything. I didn't think much of myself. Uh, Things changed for me very suddenly when I was in 12th standard, and I became a merit ranker. And overnight my world opened up. It just opened up. It's not like I was aiming for it. In fact, my mom had told me while going for my 12th standard result that, Aditi, you know what, even if you fail, don't do anything, okay? Don't do anything to yourself, don't worry, just come back home and everything is okay, everything will be all right. And she couldn't believe it. Nobody could believe it. When I actually was, declared as a merit ranker, I stood 5th in Maharashtra board. And that was one of the early turning points in my life when I actually started recognizing myself as somebody who could possibly be someone more than what I ever imagined. In 11th standard, my dad did something that I wasn't, very happy about initially. It was my dad actually made me go to NCC. NCC is National Cadet Corps. It is a paramilitary training given to school and college children. And I never really thought that I was, cut for that kind of a thing. Sunday parades, marching, camps, and all, these kind of things. But as I progressed in that, I stuck on mainly because of my dad, and he was an NCC cadet, and he learned flying through that. That is how he created his career. So when I went for NCC in my 3rd year, I became senior under officer, and I became also battalion senior. I became all India senior. I won best cadet awards, and then I started doing very well. My confidence level shot up as I got leadership position, as I discovered that I could be so much more than I ever imagined. I started getting awards in college. I was the best student both in Ruya, and when I did my graduation in Mithibai, I also did very well in my university. What actually I got was that this was my hard work. I did it myself, and that was what was of greatest value to me. Okay. From then on, I became a psychologist. Because that was what I really wanted to be. When you study the subject that you get, see, I didn't really understand people initially growing up. I was bullied a lot. I was a complete simpleton, and I didn't really understand why people behave the way they do. Like, certain things were just not explainable to me. So I decided I'm going to study psychology because I really need to understand people. And I got the subject. It came very naturally to me, and I was so happy. Like, I'd found my calling in life, and this is what I want to do. And a few years later, I got a little disillusioned because, 18 years ago, say 16, 17 years ago, psychology didn't have the kind of career growth or money or anything that it does have now. So we studied from these American textbooks, very idealistic, that, okay, these are the kind of clinic settings, this is the kind of clients you get, this is the patient, everything was very formal, in the American books and in the American setting. But when you stepped into the hospitals in India, and when you stepped into clinical practice in India, it's a world of difference. And it was a little frustrating for me. So at one point I decided, okay, my dad had been telling me, fly, become a pilot. And I said, okay, I'm going to try. Let's see how it works. So I did. I went for flying. I went to Baroda, and I started flying. You see, you need to have a physics and maths in your 12th standard to be eligible to get a student pilot license. I didn't have that initially, but I got it. I did my 12th standard all over again in 2007. So here's an interesting thing about, how I decided, how I realized I could be both a pilot and a psychologist. When I used to fly in Baroda, there is a long main road from the city out, and as you come out on the main road, there is a split, and on the left was the airport. On the right, a little further ahead, was the Baroda Mental Hospital. So I used to go to the airport in the morning, fly. In the afternoon, the airport used to be shut. So I used to go to the Baroda Mental Hospital. I used to practice there and then come back for my evening flying lessons to the airport. And while I did this, I realized that this is something that I could do really uniquely, and there was a unique contribution that I could make to Indian aviation. As I joined the airline and as I worked through flying, I started training. I started training pilots and cabin crew in human factors and psychology. I became a part of flight safety, and a lot of new things, new innovations, new creations, new ideas came from me. And that was an amazing part of my journey in Indian aviation. All of this was happening in my professional life. In my personal life, it has started getting from bad to worse. As I grew professionally, my personal life started getting worse. I do not wish to talk about it in detail here because uh, we are still in a legal proceedings. So I do not want to discuss that bit of it. As my son grew, as I grew as a mother, I started feeling more and more disconnected with myself. Again, if you look at the eyes, there's a hollowness, there's an emptiness. I couldn't recognize myself in the mirror. I couldn't understand how I got to this place. I didn't know what to do. All of these on the top of the screen, those two women with all of those labels on them. That's how we live, and that's how my life was. Labels and labels from everywhere. A lot about my body, then about who I am, and it just kept going on and kept disconnecting me from everything that I was, to a point where I was wondering where, that the earlier professional part of me, was it real? Was it a dream? Was it really me? Did I really do all these things? Or who am I? What am I? What's going on? I was in a state of complete confusion and lost. This is where the healing began. I sought out help. I went to my teachers who were therapists. I did therapy. I learned a lot more about therapy. I did courses. I took personal counseling. I healed myself. I didn't stay in that shitty place that I had come to. And bit by bit, the healing started. It was really hard in the beginning. It was not easy to start looking at myself in the mirror. This whole these pictures that you see, all of it, which was for the Mrs. India competition, they were incredibly hard for me to do, and to actually believe that this is me. It may not seem like that, but it was so hard. At the same time, it was so reaffirming that I can be beautiful. I can look at myself. People will look at myself. People will look at me as beautiful. Uh, I wanted to share something about my flying journey that I forgot. I'm going to share it with you here. So as a lady pilot, I have received very interesting perspectives. A lot of women would come up to me in the cockpit after the flight, before the flight, and congratulate me and tell me how proud they are of me and how wonderful it is to see a woman in the cockpit and how inspired they are. a few gentlemen would come with their kids, especially their daughters, and would say, "Oh wow, look, a lady pilot, you know, would you like to be that? And someday you can." That was wonderful. However, there were also experiences of a few gentlemen who would enter the enter the aircraft and look inside, and with curiosity, who's flying, and you see a woman in uniform, and you say. So I had a couple of incidents like this where, oh, she's a woman pilot, I don't want to fly. And on two different occasions, they created such a ruckus that I had to offload them. That was a that was really sad. That made me feel really bad about the way we look at women and the way we look at women professionals, especially pilots. It was there was a little bit of a gender bias even in the professional field, and that did affect me professionally also. All the things that I wanted to do, I couldn't do as much or as well because of the gender issue. As I healed, this is my little baby, I realized that something is terribly missing from my life. I had been working so much on healing myself and, healing my traumas and, looking at all the horrible stuff that I had forgotten to enjoy myself. I had forgotten what fun, what joy was. I had completely forgotten. I didn't know. Uh, I had forgotten how to smile. I had really forgotten what a real smile is, what it means to be happy. And as I healed, as I worked through everything, what dawned upon me was, if I start enjoying myself and I start bringing back the element of fun in my life, it will make a difference to me. Few months, I think at the end of May, I had done a presentation on the polyvagal theory and how we have the stress response, and we have the fight, flight, freeze, and the safety response. Now, what happens is when you're constantly under stress and you stop smiling, you stop feeling safe, you stop feeling okay, your ventral vagal system, which is the system of your body that tells you, okay, it's safe, you can relax, you can enjoy, that doesn't work so well, and you're constantly hyper vigilant, hyper alert, looking for the next attack that's going to come and looking for what's going to happen to you. So I was constantly in that, and I was constantly in that state. And as I started accessing my own theories and my own education and what I have learned and putting it in practice and rediscovering fun and power in my life, I started getting back. If you look at my eyes here and see the difference between these eyes and the eyes in the pictures that you saw, which was a few years ago, you will be able to see the difference. Whenever someone is lost, not with themselves, disconnected, you can make out from the look in the eyes. I was not there, I was not present all those many years ago. I was looking after my child, I was doing everything. Even when I was with him, I was present with him, but that was the only time I was really present. His existence was the greatest joy in my life, still is, and will always be. Uh, so if you have seen the promos that Anu had put up, there is a little bit that I mentioned about, this whole fat and ugly thing. My son is 5 years old. A couple of days ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were sharing, she's also a psychologist, and we were talking about couples counseling and relationships, and, and then I was telling her my experiences, and I mentioned that I was constantly called fat and ugly. And at that precise moment, my son entered the room, and he heard me say this. And he said, "Who calls you fat and ugly, Mom? You're not fat and ugly. You're broad and beautiful." I get goosebumps as I share this, because I had not even thought about how he is looking at me. I am his whole world and he is my whole world. But I had never considered how he actually looks at me, and that love and that acceptance for his mother. He never for a moment thought about, "Oh, Mom, you're like this, or you're like that." No, he says, "Mom, you're broad and you're beautiful." And I realized that I haven't looked at myself through his eyes, and that's how I must look at myself, through the eyes of love. And my mother is the most beautiful person in this world, for me, and she is. You will see her very soon. Uh, the thing is that, over the last few years, the only aspect of my identity that had remained alive and well was my identity as a mother. I put my whole and soul, I put my everything into being this child's mom. And it all I was already disconnected from, so many other aspects of myself and everything else. And uh, it was refreshing to see myself from his eyes, and to realize that, no, there is so much more to me, and he must be seeing me as so much more than I am seeing myself. And for him, I must be a role model. I have always believed that your parents are your greatest role models, whether they do well or whether they don't. My parents have been absolutely fantastic supports for us as children growing up. Uh, the horrible time that I went through, and then I'm now care of my parents for a while as I'm healing, or as I healed. Uh, my parents have stood by me and my child like a rock. My dad has stood by us like a rock. My mom. I see so many women. I speak to a lot of women. I offer a lot of support for women who undergo similar, problems. And a lot of them cannot deal with things because they do not have the kind of parental support that they need. They are overwhelmed. They are mentally depressed. They're not in a good place, and they have the added burden of child care. They're really often in a very bad situation, and they do not have the parental support that they deserve. But it's your child, you know. And I learned this from my parents. The kind of parent that I want to be is something I've learned from them. So, as I am discovering, reconnecting with myself, I want to share this little thing. I am me. There are many aspects of me. Some get disconnected, some get connected. And I see myself, if I were to use a metaphor, if I were to use a visual, I see myself as flowing. Sometimes I'm able to hold on to something, and sometimes I'm not. uh, it's all a flow, and there are different aspects of my life. This is the third time in my life that I'm restarting uh, completely afresh. It's like my former life. If I'm standing uh, uh, on one side of the river, and the other side of the river was my former life. It is completely gone. There is nothing of it that I can see anymore, and I'm rebuilding. First time was when I was building my career as a psychologist. The second time was when I decided to become a pilot and became a pilot. And this is the third time when I'm starting fully afresh. And I have no regrets. I have I've learned so much from this journey, and I'm incredibly grateful to God for having guided me. If I weren't a psychologist, it would have been so much harder for me to actually understand what was going on. Because I was a psychologist, I have the tools, I have the knowledge, I have the access to so much help. Because I was a pilot, I had financial, I have a, I'm okay financially. So I have a lot to be grateful in life for, no matter the hardships, because through all of this only you learn, or through all of this only the wisdom comes. And I don't know where I'm going from here or what is in store for me, but I know one thing for sure: I am bloody resilient. I am me. I am who I am meant to be. I am my past. I am my present and who I want to be. I am not anyone. I am all three. I am a work in progress. I am a destiny. I am who I choose to be. I am me.
Wow. Wow.
This let your past make you better, not bitter. This was one of the photo shoots of the Mrs. India contest, where it was a traditional, and I wanted to bring in, the theme was be innovative with traditional wear. And I'm a Maharashtrian. I wanted to wear a Nawari, and I wore a Nawari sari with a pilot's uniform shirt to show that I can be traditional. I am modern. I am high flying. I am still grounded to my roots. I am everything, and I'm everything I choose to be. I am a woman, and I am okay. So my presentation, my video ends here, and I am open to questions.
Thank you, Aditi. That was so beautiful, so from the heart, so lovely. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Anu.
Say miles to go before I sleep. And the song that kept coming in my head was Ruk Jana Nahi Tu Kahin Haar Ke. That song is so amazing. I don't know how to sing it, but really, कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के. आपने ये करके दिखाया है. You've done it and shown it. And you are truly an inspiration. Keep it up, keep going. आगे ऐसा हो कि इंस्पिरेशन बनने की जरूरत ना पड़े. आगे ऐसा हो कि आपके दामन में सिर्फ फूल खिले. आगे ऐसा हो कि आपकी जिंदगी इतनी खूबसूरत हो कि खूबसूरती अपने आप को देख के शर्मा जाए. आगे ऐसा हो कि आप चलती जाएं और आपके पीछे भीड़ चले. शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपके यहाँ आने का, अपनी लाइफ को इतने खूबसूरत तरीके से पिरोने का और हमें अपनी लाइफ के कुछ glimpses दिखाने का. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really
so much, Anu.
Guys, questions. अदिति, इसे निकाल देते हैं स्क्रीन शेयर को ताकि हम आपको देख सकें.
Yes.
Wonderful. Guys, questions, guys. या तो सब समझ आ गई या एकदम साइलेंस में हो. कुछ तो पूछो यार. The captain is here. उड़ना कैसे है वो तो आपने सीख लिया. कुछ और पूछना नहीं है. बोलती बंद कर दी इसने सबकी. अमिता, एक खिड़की तो खुली. हाँ जी.
I just have a sharing actually, not to say.
Please go ahead.
First,
Share
I would like to say that you are very beautiful, Aditi. I don't know, means you were showing your pictures and you were saying that this is that picture and I was fat and ugly, and I was like, where it is that? I find that picture also so beautiful. And apart from that, what you said, that even today also, when we are working in corporates, if a woman gets successful, then everybody is like कि कुछ किया होगा, ऐसे ही नहीं इतनी जल्दी सक्सेसफुल हो जाते लोग. And if you don't get success, that यार लड़कियों का ऐसे ही है. मतलब if you get successful also, that's a problem. If you don't get, that's also a problem. So at some
Absolutely.
point, I also felt like I used to, till 12th, I was into like, I studied in a Hindi medium school, then went to my engineering college. There my English got improved. And then when I joined my office, in between that, there was a phase where I lost my confidence. And I was like, when I'm speaking in English, my mother language my native language used to come in my touch. And I was like कि क्या हो रहा है मुझे, and मतलब मुझे नहीं लगता मैं ठीक से बात भी कर पाऊंगी. And then my sister told me that why do you feel so that you cannot talk? You can talk in English and you are doing it well. So it happens sometime, but you have to actually reconnect with yourself.
Yeah.
And thank
Wonderful
you so
sharing.
much.
Wonderful sharing. Anybody else? Share करो. सवाल पूछो अदिति से. सवाल पूछो यार. वो पढ़ के आई हैं.
हाँ मैं पढ़ के अपने लाइफ के बारे में.
कोई तो सवाल पूछो यार.
जरूरी होता है अपने लाइफ के बारे में.
और क्या?
अपने लाइफ के बारे में पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी होता है.
अच्छा कंजूस लोग फीडबैक ही दे दो. सवाल नहीं पूछना तो फीडबैक ही दे दो. खिड़कियां खोलो, शक्ल दिखाओ और फीडबैक ही दे दो. बोलो बहुत अच्छा किया अदिति तूने. कितने कंजूस हो. अदिति देख ले कितने ढीठ के बच्चे हैं सब लोग.
अनु कोई कंजूस नहीं है. सब लोग सोच रहे हैं कि इनको बोलना क्या है, because they don't have any words to them.
इसमें कुछ इनकी कंट्रीब्यूशन है, कुछ हमारी है. इकट्ठे मिलके हमने कल सोचा था चक दे.
हाँ, मतलब आपने बोला ही था कि फ्लैट कर दो, मतलब फ्लैट कर दिया मैंने.
मतलब उड़ा दिया ना. पायलट
हवा में उड़ा दिया पायलट बन के.
पायलट हो कैसे भी उड़ा दिया.
थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा सबको.
चलिए सोनल बोलिए.
Hi.
सोनल.
Hi. I just want to say that I've known Aditi for last 8 years, I think. And
Okay,
Hello.
Archana. Yes, go ahead.
sorry, I want to say that I've known Aditi for last 8 years, and there are some aspects that even I did not know. And I'm a little mad at you, Aditi, for that. But I'm so proud of you to take a step back and see your journey like this. It's been amazing to see that and get inspired, and I just love you. So thank you.
I love you too. Sonal is one of my bestest friends.
अच्छा चलो एक काम करते हैं
for
सब लोग.
me.
एक काम कर सकते हैं.
Anu, someone has asked a question in chat. Chat.
चैट में जरा अदिति जाके पढ़ो. मेरी आंखें धोखा दे रही हैं. एक काम करो यार, सब इकट्ठे तो अनम्यूट करके बोल सकते हो. आई लव यू अदिति.
Love you, Aditi.
लव यू अदिति.
Thank you so much, love.
लव यू
Love you.
अदिति.
Aditi.
Thank you.
अब मैं मस्ती कर रही हूँ.
Gopu sir is asking, how did you face the situation post flying and learning psychology? Gopu sir, I became a psychologist first, and then I became a pilot. So for me, you know, being in the cockpit, there were times when I used to wonder in the initial phases, मैं यहाँ कर क्या रही हूँ? And you know, it's a very male-dominated profession, so there are a lot of things about, you know, that I couldn't connect with. A lot of people that I didn't know. Initially it was like that. It did feel a little strange because, you know, in psychology you are taught to ask why. But why this behavior? But why? But why? But why? And in class you are supposed to do, but how? No, how? No, how? So when I used to ask my teachers, and I used to ask people, you know, when I was learning radio aids and how the radio waves pass, and, you know, all about the flying and the instruments and the compass. And I said, but how? But why? But why is it like this? And they used to tell me, Aditi, you're asking PhD level questions. My training as a psychologist actually really helped me a lot in the cockpit because I could understand I could understand my co-pilots. I could understand my crew. I was able to provide that kind of environment for them. I was able to understand so much so that when my senior captains as a co-pilot, when senior captains used to ask, "Acha, tu karti kya hai?" Matlab, you're looking a lot older than these young 17, 18-year-olds that come. And so I said, no, I am a psychologist. क्या? अच्छा मेरी तरफ मत देखना. Don't look at me. तू मेरा दिमाग पढ़ लेगी. I mean, that was one end of it, but there was the other end where people, the moment they came to know that I'm a psychologist, they would really open up to me, and they would actually share so much about their personal life, the problems that they're going through. It was like they couldn't ask for help officially, but they really needed it. They really needed to talk. And that's when I realized how many people, even in this, pilots, as pilots, you're supposed to be very like together, you're supposed to be very macho, and you're supposed to be all, nothing phases me, and I'm very strong and mentally fit, all of that. But at the end of the day, they're all humans. And it was very humbling for me to actually be the confidant for so many of their stories, and the help that I could offer there. So yeah, that was my experience.
Aditi, there's one more question from Ashwini over there. Could you just please have a look?
Yes, so she's asking, if you had to give your next phase a motto, what would it be? I have actually started something, and it's called Choose to be the Captain of Your Life. That is what I am going to do next. And for the rest of my life, I'm actually going to be the captain of my life, and I'm going to teach people how to be the captain of theirs. What happens is when we are surrounded by so many things, and we lose control of ourselves and lose control of our lives and keep getting influenced by everything, like I did. There was a lot in my environment that had to do with this feeling of fat and ugly. It wasn't my idea to begin with, and it was an idea that was from somebody else's head, but it was so continuously told to me that I don't even know when I internalized it. I lost control of my situation. I lost control of my mind. I stopped thinking like she had said that, oh, where in this? I couldn't make out from the photos. You were saying you thought you were fat and ugly, but I couldn't make out. But it was a thought process, and it was so heavily influenced by the environment that I was in that I lost control of myself and of my mind. And I have got it back. I have understood how to get it back, and I know that's something that's not really taught to us. We're taught to be obedient. We're taught to give people chances. We're taught to, keep on trying to, not make people mad, and, trying to agree, and, all these things. We're taught to do that. And sanskar जिसे बोलते हैं ना, कभी-कभी वो संस्कार हमारे रास्ते में आ जाते हैं. We become so nice with people that we allow them to walk all over us. So taking charge of my life, taking control of my life also means that I do not allow people to feed me nonsense, and I do not accept it anymore.
Wonderful. So when I was hearing you, Aditi, and that you threw the man out who was being rubbish with you, and who said, "Oh, there's a woman, and I will not get into this flight."
Yeah, I threw him out. Yeah, I told him leave.
That's what you're going to do in the next phase of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to sit in your flight, carry the crew that is with you, and you're going to throw off the person who doesn't stand with you. Leave him down there and leave him to deal with his shit, and close the door and fly. You did it.
Yes.
And you can do it now.
Yeah.
Wonderful, guys. That's my rebel side again walking up. Anyways, उसको भूल जाओ, आगे चलते हैं.
नहीं अनु, उसको भूल नहीं सकते. बहुत दिनों बाद seeing you back in your tempo. Love you, man. Seriously, I was missing this part.
You were missing this
Seriously.
part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Archana.
Anu's back.
Yeah, I'm back with the bang.
Yes.
थकना allowed है, मरना allowed नहीं है.
I know.
जब तक सांसें दी हैं भगवान ने, तब तक ये बॉडी चलेगी.
बिल्कुल.
बस क्लास चलेगी.
Love you.
Love you. Any और सवाल? Arey, what did I do now? English and Hindi mixed together. That was pure English.
Awesome. Very nice, Anu. Awesome.
Any more सवाल?
ये हुई ना बात.
अच्छा बताओ, नहीं है तो इनकी मम्मी को लेके आते हैं.
So I want to introduce.
Ashwini Samant has raised her hand. Ashwini, please unmute yourself and speak. Thank you.
No, sorry, I think the hand got raised by mistake.
कोई
I've
बात नहीं,
already
बोल सकते
spoken
हो
to
यार,
Aditi.
कोई बात
Yeah.
नहीं, बोल सकते हो, लाइव बोल दो, क्या फर्क पड़ता
So I had that question about the motto, so she's answered it very beautifully.
है? You're her sister?
I'm very, very proud of
Yes.
her. I'm very proud to be her sister. Yeah.
Wonderful. तो एक इनके लिए इनको बोल ही दो. I love you, Aditi.
I love you, Aditi. I think she knows it.
चलिए.
You know, I've learned from my sister how to stand up, how to rebel, how to do. I've learned a lot from her. My younger sister, I have learned a lot from her.
अश्विनी, तेरी
Yes.
प्रशंसा हो रही है, सोच ले.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm actually even prouder of the lady who's going to take over after this now. So she's my mother.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. So we will thank Aditi here. I presume that there are no more questions. And if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat on the WhatsApp. Just to let you know, my WhatsApp went off yesterday. So I knew some energy flux was happening with me. My whole WhatsApp completely vanished. And when I reinstalled it back, just the groups and the people who were supposed to be there came back. I don't have any more data on it, no messages. So maybe that's for the best. I don't need the clutter in my life anymore. I don't need the jargon, and a lot of it has just dropped out. And if there was Binny sitting here, she would call it karmic. And I'm very sure it's karmically I have thrown out. I didn't have to do any hard work of throwing people off. It just happened. So we bring in the next. How do you say? How do I call your mom?
Can I introduce
Please.
her? Make it
Please.
easy.
Please. Okay, so I'm just going
Okay,
to switch off
so-
the